Ever imagined electric vehicles could, like, fuel a real estate boom? Sounds kind of wild, huh?
It is pretty wild when you think about it.
It's happening right now in Thailand,
Yeah.
and we're diving into it today.
Yeah, this is really interesting stuff.
We're checking out this recent analysis from Ocean Worldwide. They're really plugged into Thailand's property scene. And they're predicting some big, big shifts.
Yeah, their analysis is really interesting, and we're going to break it all down for you today.
Exactly. It all comes down to this, really. How one industry transforming can shake up, well, practically an entire economy.
It's fascinating.
Absolutely. So Thailand, right? They have this big, ambitious goal that they call it their 30-30 policy.
Right, I've heard of that.
By 2030, they want 30% of all the vehicles made in Thailand to be electric. Think about that for a second.
Yeah, that's a pretty aggressive target.
It's huge. And it's not just about, like, going green, you know. This is about Thailand becoming, like, the electric vehicle hub of Southeast Asia.
It's a smart move if they can pull it off.
The potential market there is enormous. And, you know, Thailand already makes a ton of cars. So they are they're really in a prime spot to take advantage of this whole EV shift.
Exactly. And the thing is, they're not just, dipping their toes in the water here. They are going all in. They've got a whole wave of government incentives designed to make this happen.
Okay, so, like, what kind of incentives are we talking here? I mean, are they giving away free electric tuk-tuks with every purchase or what?
No, but seriously, they are making it very, very appealing for manufacturers to switch gears, literally.
Okay, I like it. So tell me more about these incentives.
We're talking, first off, subsidies. Subsidies to make producing EVs in Thailand more cost-effective, right? And then, on top of that, you've got some pretty enticing tax breaks to sweeten the pot. And if that wasn't enough, they rolled out this special incentive package that's specifically aimed at just supercharging investment over the next few years. It's a big deal.
So they're really putting their money where their mouth is. But I'm curious, have these efforts actually pulled in any big players? Or are we still in the early stages here?
Oh, no, the big players have definitely noticed. Just by 2024, they had already pulled in, get this, $1.8 billion in investment.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a pretty clear sign that companies, and big ones at that, are recognizing that Thailand's got some serious potential in the EV market.
That's a serious chunk of change. So who are we talking about here? Who's doing all this investing? Any names we would know?
Oh, yeah, definitely some familiar names. We're seeing massive investment from Chinese companies like BYD. They're one of the biggest EV manufacturers, well, globally at this point.
Right, I've heard of them.
And they're not just building cars over there either. They're going all in, setting up these massive parts warehouses in Bangkok to, support this whole growing EV ecosystem. And we can't forget about the Japanese automakers. They're also pouring resources in to boost Thailand's EV manufacturing capacity.
So, okay, we've got the ambition, the incentives are clearly working, global players are buying in. So let's talk about what I'm most interested in, real estate. What's this EV boom going to do to Thailand's property market?
This is where things get really, really interesting. All of this activity, all these new factories, the supporting industries, this all requires space. Ocean Worldwide is predicting that all of this is going to create, get this, a $6.5 billion commercial real estate opportunity by 2030.
$6.5 billion?
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Wow. So we're not just talking about finding parking spots for these EVs. We're talking about building a whole ecosystem to support them.
Exactly. And a huge, huge, huge part of this whole ecosystem is going to be battery production. To meet these ambitious targets, Thailand's going to need to produce, are you ready for this? Over 34 gigawatt hours worth of batteries every single year.
That's a lot of batteries.
It's a massive amount. That's enough to power every single home in Bangkok for an entire week.
Wow, that puts in perspective.
Yeah, that's the kind of scale we're talking about here.
So we're talking about some seriously big factories dedicated to just churning out batteries. So it's all that going on. What does that mean for the rest of the real estate market there?
Well, it creates this ripple effect, right? It's not just about the factories themselves. Think about all the research and development centers that'll pop up, and then all the, the other supporting industries, not to mention the housing and infrastructure that you'll need to, accommodate the workforce. This EV boom is going to impact every single aspect of the real estate market.
So we've got factories popping up left and right, research centers, housing demands. It's really incredible how this EV boom is impacting every single corner of Thailand's real estate market.
Yeah, it really is. And the thing is, it goes even further than that.
Oh, how so?
Well, think about it. These EVs, they're basically computers on wheels.
Right.
So what does that mean? It means a massive surge in demand for things like software integration, AI development, basically the whole digital brain behind these vehicles.
Fascinating. So we're talking about a potential tech boom happening alongside this real estate boom?
Exactly. The software side of this whole thing is absolutely huge. And then there's the battery technology itself, right? I mean, that's constantly evolving. And Thailand, they want to be a leader in that space. We're not just talking about, assembling existing tech. This is about actual innovation happening right there in Thailand.
That's incredible. It's like Thailand is becoming like this hub for both the hardware and the software that's driving this whole EV revolution.
That's a great way to put it. And you know what else?
Things that
Let's not forget about the ripple effects this is all having on other industries. Take tires, for example. Yeah, tires. What do all cars need? Tires.
true. I didn't think about that.
Even something like rubber production and tire manufacturing, those sectors are feeling a really, really positive impact from all of this.
Okay, so we've painted this picture of a really dynamic, fast-growing ecosystem here, but let's bring it back down to earth for a second.
Yeah.
What does all of this actually mean for, for someone who's listening to us right now? Like, let's say I'm really intrigued by Thailand. Maybe I'm thinking about investment opportunities there. Why should I care about electric vehicles and, gigawatt hours of batteries and all that?
That's the million-dollar question, right? And I think it boils down to this growth potential. That's what this is all about. The Thai government is clearly committed to this whole EV sector. I mean, they're putting their money where their mouth is. And this kind of commitment, it creates an environment that is just ripe for investment. And this is true whether you're a major player, some huge company that's looking to set up shop over there, or even if you're just an individual investor who's, exploring different opportunities, whether it's real estate or tech or any of those supporting industries we talked about.
Right, right. So it's kind of like catching a wave early on, right?
Yeah.
You want to be in position before that wave crests and everyone else is, paddling out and trying to catch up.
Exactly. Thailand's EV wave is building and building fast. You've got the influx of foreign investment. You've got all these government incentives. We talked about a skilled workforce. I mean, these are all incredibly positive signs. Of course, any investment comes with its risks. There's no getting around that. Doing your due diligence, your research is absolutely crucial.
Always good advice. Don't take our word for it, folks. Do your research. Speaking of research, this deep dive wouldn't be complete if we didn't at least address, the potential challenges here. It can't all be smooth sailing on the road to electric avenues, right?
You are absolutely right. The potential here is undeniable. But Thailand definitely faces some hurdles in this whole quest to become the EV powerhouse of Southeast Asia.
Okay, so what could throw a wrench in the works here?
Well, infrastructure is going to be absolutely key. They're going to need a really robust charging network to support all these new EVs. And that requires some significant investment, careful planning. And then you've got the whole issue of resource management, right?
Mhm.
Batteries require a lot of rare earth minerals, and sourcing those ethically and sustainably, I mean, that's absolutely crucial.
Right, absolutely. It's about making sure that this push for a greener future doesn't come at the cost of, of ethical and environmental responsibility.
Exactly. And then, of course, there's always the challenge of competition. Thailand's not the only country in the region that wants a piece of this EV pie.
Right, of course not.
But here's the thing, though. Challenges, well, they also represent opportunities,
I
right?
too like the way you think. Tell me more about that.
Well, think about it this way. If Thailand can, navigate these challenges successfully, and they seem pretty determined to do so well, it just strengthens their position even further. They could become this model for sustainable development in the region,
Mhm.
and that would attract even more investment, even more innovation.
So it's not just about building electric cars. It's about building a more sustainable future.
Yeah.
Economically, environmentally, the whole package.
Oh, precisely. And that's what makes this whole story so incredibly compelling. It's a real-world case study in how a country can leverage its strengths, leverage its existing industries, and really position itself at the forefront of this global shift towards electric vehicles. And in doing so, they create all these incredible opportunities that go way, way beyond just the automotive sector.
So as we wrap up our deep dive today, it's pretty amazing to think about how Thailand's EV goals could totally change, not just their car industry, but their whole economy.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a story about a country saying, hey, we're going to be a part of this global change, and we're going all in. Anyone who wants to see where Southeast Asia's headed should be paying attention to Thailand.
You've given us so much to think about today. I mean, the sheer scale of what Thailand's trying to do, the government putting their money where their mouth is, all that foreign investment pouring in, it's exciting. But like you were saying earlier, no big change comes without a few bumps in the road.
Right. We talked about some of those challenges, right? Building up their infrastructure, figuring out the whole resource management thing, and of course, dealing with competition from other countries. But, every challenge also has an opportunity hidden inside it. If Thailand can overcome these hurdles, it just makes their position as a leader even stronger.
It's like they're turning obstacles into opportunities, which is always impressive.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what makes this whole thing so fascinating. They're not just saying, let's build some electric cars. It's about creating a more sustainable future for their economy and for the planet. That's a big deal.
So for our listeners who've been with us this whole time, what's the one thing you want them to walk away thinking about? What's that big question they should be asking themselves?
Imagine having the chance to invest in, like, the very beginning of a huge tech change. That's what's happening in Thailand right now with this EV revolution. Are there risks? Sure, there always are. But the potential, that's huge. Things are changing every day over there, so keep watching Thailand because this story is just getting started. And who knows, maybe you'll even find yourself wanting to be a part of it all.
That's a great point to end on. Thanks for joining us for this electrifying deep dive into Thailand's EV revolution. And until next time, keep exploring.